Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Fabrizio Romano has been told £25 million Arsenal player has been unreal in training lately. If there is any player at Arsenal that has the right to kick up a fuss, it's Aaron Ramsdale. The goalkeeper has been unceremoniously dumped from the Arsenal 11 in recent weeks, and, in all honesty, we'd understand if he was annoyed about his current situation. However, while Ramsdale would have every right to be sulking around the training ground, it sounds as though he is doing exactly the opposite. Indeed, according to Fabrizio Romano, speaking on the Here We Go podcast, Ramsdale has been the consummate professional and he has been perfect in training and has supported Raya on his journey to becoming Arsenal's number one. Romano shared what he knows about the £25 million goalkeeper. He said, I think it's a possibility. It's not guaranteed yet. Let me tell you what I am hearing from my sources close to Arsenal and close to some players is that he is being super professional. It's not easy for him when you have Raya entering in competition with you. Raya is being super professional, perfect in training, so Arsenal are very happy with his behavior. Raya may be Arsenal's number one at the moment, but it sounds as though Ramsdale isn't giving up his spot without a fight. The goalkeeper is pushing harder than ever in training, and if he keeps this up, it may not be long before Mikel Arteta considers reinstating him as the number one. Competition breeds success, and if Ramsdale is training brilliantly at the moment, he will be breathing down Raya's neck before he has even had a chance to settle in as Arsenal's first choice goalkeeper. Ramsdale isn't giving up this battle just yet. Darren Bent says what Arteta said about 23-year-old Arsenal player was crazy. Darren Bent has admitted that he cannot understand why Emile Smith Rowe is not playing more for Arsenal, suggesting that he found what Mikel Arteta recently said about the youngster crazy. Bent was speaking on talkSPORT after the 23-year-old made his first start for Arsenal in well over a year on Wednesday as he featured in the Carabao Cup win at Brentford. The way Mikel Arteta has used Emile Smith Rowe, particularly this season, has left a lot of Arsenal fans baffled. The attacking midfielder has barely been used in the Premier League. Smith Rowe got his chance against the Bees, but it seems that he has got work to do before he is back playing regularly in the Arsenal team. Mikel Arteta suggested, in comments reported by the Daily Mail, that Smith Rowe needs to prove what he can do when he gets a chance, and those comments have not gone down well at all with Darren Bent. Bent insisted that Smith Rowe has nothing more to prove, and Arteta would be wise to give him a lot more opportunities. He said, I don't get it, and Arteta came out with something the other day I thought it actually quite annoyed me when he said that it's up to Emile Smith Rowe to prove that he can play at this level. What? It's almost like Arteta's got a bit of a short memory. Listen, I love Arteta as a manager, but it's back to the 21-22 season, I think it was, where his job was on the line. He was struggling a little bit. Arteta. And who were the two who carried him through? Saka and Smith Rowe. They got 10 Premier League goals that season. Then, the following season, he had a few injuries, and he's been injury hit ever since. But to see if he can play at this level, that's crazy. For me, if you are asking me who I'd rather play, Kai Havertz or Emile Smith Rowe every single day of the week. As well as Saliba, Arsenal believe they have another defender who is going to be a superstar. Arsenal are blessed to have some of the best young talent in world football on their books at the moment. The likes of Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and William Saliba are all absolute superstars in the making, but aside from those three headline names, Arsenal also believe they have another young talent who is headed to the very top. Indeed, according to Fabrizio Romano, speaking on the Here We Go podcast, Arsenal aren't planning on signing a new defender anytime soon, as they are happy to wait for Jurriën Timber to return from injury as they believe he will be a top player in the next 5, 6, or 7 years. Romano shared what he knows about the defender. He said, on a defender, they want to wait for Timber. They believe that Timber will be a top player for the next 5, 6, or 7 years, so they want to wait for him. Of course, we haven't seen very much of Timber at Arsenal so far due to his injury, and we can only hope that he comes back the same player. These sorts of knee injuries can completely change the course of a player's career, and while Arsenal may have high hopes for Timber, expectations may have to be tempered slightly if this injury is as bad as one may fear. We can only keep our fingers crossed and hope that the Dutch defender can recover and come back from this setback better than ever, because it would appear he is a player with a huge potential who could be headed to the very top if injuries don't halt his progress. Mikel Arteta names the four Arsenal players who have missed training pre-Bournemouth. Mikel Arteta has been giving his latest press conference ahead of this weekend's clash with Bournemouth and has given a worrying update on injuries. The Gunners are looking to continue their good start to the season and will fancy themselves when it comes to taking 3 points from the Cherries. However, it won't be plain sailing for Arsenal, who have a number of injuries in the camp. Indeed, the Gunners' boss has confirmed that he is sweating over the fitness of at least 4 players. Speaking in his presser, and as quoted by ESPN's James Oley, Arteta has confirmed that a number of players are struggling with injuries. Declan Rice is the headline name, but there are worries over Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, and Leandro Trossard as well. He said, Rice hasn't trained yet. We have another session in an hour or two. More news today. Martinelli hasn't trained. Trossard, same situation. Saka, same situation. The Gunners are looking lightweight at the moment, and their injury problems have been a talking point among fans and pundits this season. The worrying thing for Arsenal and Arteta here is that the players he mentions are all first-team players who make a big impact. It's not like they are losing squad players or youngsters. They are seeing top stars go down week after week, and it will be a concern for the club. Arteta will be hoping none of these injuries are serious. Certainly, he will be keen to have at least 1 or 2 fit for the weekend. Arsenal could unleash electric 23-year-old versus Bournemouth after impressive Carabao Cup outing. Arsenal winger Reece Nelson gave a great account of himself in Wednesday's Carabao Cup third-round victory. The 23-year-old Gunner's talent hasn't had much game time under Mikel Arteta, but the manager clearly rates him highly. With injuries mounting at Arsenal, Wednesday's trip to Brentford was the perfect opportunity for fringe players to get valuable minutes. Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli, Thomas Partey, Jurriën Timber are all out or doubts at present. Nelson started the match and opened the scoring in the 8th minute with what proved to be the winner. The Evening Standard wrote, took his goal well by calmly finding the bottom corner. Worked exceptionally hard off the ball for the team too. If Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard aren't fit this weekend, he could start. Meanwhile, Football London wrote, grabbed the goal but was impressive away from that, defensively diligent throughout and direct in the dribble, continues his impressive run of form. Nelson has certainly earned himself a spot in the Arsenal starting 11 against Bournemouth. Not only that, but the Gunners have 2 huge games coming up after the trip to the South Coast. Arsenal had to Lens in the Champions League next Tuesday before hosting Manchester City in the Premier League on Sunday. With that in mind, the Gunners could probably do with mixing things up against the Cherries, even if Martinelli and Trossard are available. That's not to say Arsenal can underestimate them, far from it, but with the Gunners now boasting more strength and depth, it's times like these that they need to make use of it. Danny Murphy can't believe Arsenal haven't used €45 million player on the wing more. Arsenal's current crop of attacking options is absolutely brilliant, But when you are competing on all four fronts, you need depth and rotation. Speaking on five, Murphy stated that he is genuinely surprised that Gabriel Jesus hasn't played more games on the right wing for Arsenal, claiming that he played such a role brilliantly for Manchester City and that it would allow Saka so much needed rest. The pundit gave his verdict on Arsenal's rotation and the 45 million euros striker playing on the wing. He said, "You have Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka. Jesus can play wide. He did it for City so well in big games and on big occasions. I am surprised last season that Jesus didn't play more on the right at times to give Saka a break because he was playing every single minute of all of these games." We can absolutely see Murphy's point here, but at the same time, we can also understand why Mikel Arteta wouldn't want to drop Saka at all. The 22-year-old is arguably the most important player in Arsenal's squad, and in the middle of a title race, you really can't afford to leave a player like this out of the squad. Rotation is very important, especially with young players, but if Arteta were to actually action such a plan, and it were to cost the Gunners points, there would be some serious questions to answer for the Arsenal boss. Arsenal keen on signing perfect 38 cap midfielder whose contract ends in 2024. Arsenal are reportedly eager to move for Adrien Rabiot in the January transfer window. This is according to Calciomercato, who claims the Gunners are among several clubs eyeing the Juventus ace. Arsenal have started the season strongly, but Kai Havertz continues to struggle since his summer move to the Emirates. Meanwhile, Rabiot's contract only runs until 2024. He signed a contract extension last summer and is apparently in talks over a new deal. However, with some uncertainty around the 38 cap Frenchman's long term future, Arsenal could look to exploit the situation. As well as the Gunners, Premier League rivals Newcastle United are apparently eyeing Rabiot too. When a player of Rabiot's caliber potentially become available, a club like Arsenal should certainly explore the opportunity. The 28-year-old has begun the season well for Juve, registering 1 goal and 2 assists from 6 Serie A outings. He is continuing from where he left off last season, a campaign in which he bagged 11 goals and 6 assists in all competitions. Rabiot has been deemed a perfect player when it comes to playing in a passing football system. This would no doubt stand him in good stead were he to join an Arsenal side that thrives on fluent, cohesive passing. In terms of potential price tag, there aren't any new reports to go by. However, with his contract running out next summer, it shouldn't be particularly high. Obviously, we'll need to see how contract talks with Juve go, and as he is playing often and starring for them, you can't imagine he is in any rush to leave. David Ornstein shares what he knows about Arsenal and Ivan Toney. Arsenal have some admiration for Ivan Toney as a transfer target, according to David Ornstein, the Athletic journalist, writing in his latest Q&A on the website, shared all he knows about the speculation involving the Gunners and the England ace. Arsenal were reportedly eyeing the Brentford forward in the summer, and that interest seems to be persisting. Fabrizio Romano recently reported Arsenal are well informed on the conditions of the potential deal. Meanwhile, The Times reported last month that both Arsenal and Spurs are interested in signing Toney. The 27-year-old is currently serving a suspension, which left him unable to secure a move away in the summer. This will be up in January, and according to Romano, Toney is looking to up sticks and move elsewhere in 2024. On Thursday, Ornstein answered fan questions in his latest Ask Ornstein Q&A on The Athletic. One came from a fan who asked whether there is any legitimacy on the speculation linking Toney to the Gunners. Ornstein replied, "Naturally, there is some admiration for Toney at Arsenal, like there is at other clubs. Arsenal decided against recruiting a striker in the summer and focused on other positions. That obviously makes everyone wonder if a striker is next on the agenda. As things stand, I am not aware of them actively being in the market for one, and even if that changes, which is obviously possible depending on how results and team individual performances go on in the weeks ahead. There is no guarantee it will be Tony. His contract expires in the summer of 2025, and while Brentford would love him to extend, there is no sign of it at the moment. Unless that changes, they will need to at least consider a sale, and his changes of agents to CAA still suggest he may be keen to move in January or the summer, but his price will be very high, and will Arsenal be able to afford that? The structure of their deal for David Raya shows FFP is a real concern, and although the Croats have shown a willingness to spend heavily, they might not be able to do this easily. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.